Welcome back to the next episode of Game of Jones, in which our heroes finally start the big darn quest. This is Chapter 2. The Hunt Begins. 2 weeks pass while the party is debriefed and held during the fallout. Eventually they are summoned by none other than the Lord Regent of Haven, Cardiff Riken. He tells them that he is looking for a skilled group of adventurers to help him out with something. In the catacombs beneath Neverwood is an ancient family tomb that has been sealed for generations. It has been locked behind an intricate lock that requires 5 keys to open. He has one, but requires the other 4. He promises them fame and fortune if they can locate the rest of the keys. His advisor, the man in the red hat from Klein, prophesies and grants them insight into the location of the keys. One key bound by fate, given from ruler to ruler, secreted away by the dethroned. One key buried with books, across the sea and surrounded by white, guarded by an ancient threat. One key hidden by a usurper, used to shape the world to his beguiling will. One key brought from obscurity, a gift of the goddess to illuminate the darkness. One key wielded in relentless fury, to unravel the good done in the world. The party takes it upon themselves to travel to Neverwood to inspect the vault for themselves to begin with, and begins their trek north. They fight off pirates on the high seas and make a quick stop-off in Venture on the way. While in Venture, they learn that the Lord Regent hasn't been seen in quite some time, but has taken several wives over the last few years. Rumor has it they can't conceive. While en route to Neverwood, the foliage grows scarce and a house rises out of the fog. The party investigates this house and discovers that it is quite haunted. They engage ghosts and ghouls, but upon escape, burn it to the ground. In light of the flames, Morn discovers that his shadow is wrong, the shape of it. It is a monstrous shape, and he asks his patron for answers. This is the shadow entity that latched onto him after the sacrificial ritual in Klein. Tyron reaches out to him, and he is told that the closer he is to death, the closer he is to unification with Tyron. Morn accepts this and longs to be even more powerful and slashes his own wrists. Myra and Kirk rush to stop him, but a massive faceless entity rises from Morn's shadow and eviscerates the young warlock, pulling his body down into blackened shadow. The party feels sick but presses on. Soon the sun is lost to the fog. The oppressive and haunting force of Neverwood is brought upon them in full strength. They arrive at the city proper and find it divided into 2 castes, the rich and the church, and everyone else. Elijah finds his mom running her in, and the party decides to investigate around. They run into Silver and her dwarvish escort Rurik. They explore Morn's old family manor and discover a brother and sister hiding out there. They are convinced a dark power is after them, the Baron Vidic Stra Eladin. He is a ruler who has evil in his heart and holds much power. Eli tells them they can hide out at his mother's inn. They check out the Church of the Ironclad, the local church that dominates the skyline of the city. In front of it is a crystalline, almost tree-like structure. The church denies them passage, but Elijah's father, a clergyman, tells them that they can look in an old abandoned library for some answers. Underneath the rotting timbers is an ancient chamber that houses an old book. Upon opening it, they are presented with a vision of the world being made, and of the god Emor betraying his siblings. It also reveals that the god Alphonsus was once known as Faven, and has been corrupted over the generations. The party decides that they must find other books like this and choose a new name for themselves, the Vanguard. The newly minted Vanguard stops by the local jail to pay a visit to Morn and, as they find out, Silver's father, Sev Carrick. He relates to them his involvement with the Baron. 200 years ago, Sev was admiring a traveling band's wares and came across a strange golden key. He simply had to have it, and when it was in his possession, it spoke to him, promising him power and influence if he did as the key commanded. It led him to a lock hidden in the bowels of the church, where upon unlocking, a vast mist started filling the whole region from the Platinum Skull. Strange beasts were seen, and those who died didn't always stay dead. The key led him northwards into the mists and through the woods until he was at a massive castle. There he met Baron Vidic Stra Eladin. He wove a tale of power and love that captivated Sev. and he used the powers gifted to him to seek out women of dark hair, pale skin, and green eyes for this devil. And when those he found were worthy, he attempted a ritual decreed by Vidic. If the girls died, then the ritual failed. But Sev was able to keep their possessions. And so the years went on. Sev continued to amass wealth and reputation, killing in the shadows for the one who granted him power. Eventually, he found one that matched the description that he could not kill, and he grew to love her. Talia, Morn's mother, was a pet project for him, to make her into something better than she was, and they were married and had a son. Years went by, and Vidic was angry with Sev for subverting his will and forced him to do twice as many women for his sins. This was done to ruin his relationship with Talia, as she was soon able to follow him and discern what he had been doing with his time. Vidic told him to do the deed, or he would take Jamros, Morn's birth name, and turn his wife into a bride of his own. Unable to live with this, Sev turned the blade on her, not letting her soul be damned, but forsaking his freedom in the process. He's been in prison ever since, unable to see his son, having to live with the fact that he's had to kill the only woman he ever really loved. Silver, whose real name is Isabel von Tassel, was born a bastard of Sev's and raised in the nicer half of the city, but still harbors a hatred for her father. Rurik, sensing her murderous intent, casts calm emotions and she leaves, distraught, into the night. The party returns to the inn and discovers that the Baron himself has been waiting for them. He flaunts his power and control of the situation and assures them that they are powerless against him. During the tense trading of subtleties and veiled threats, Kirk ascertains that he is an undead, a powerful vampire lord. The tense dinner ends and he bids them good night. In the early morning hours, zombies and wolves assault the inn, and the party fends them off. They track a series of footprints to the cellar and discover the body of Rurik pinned to the wall. They turn to the Rurik who had helped them in the earlier battle and discovered the Baron smiling at them, having cast off the skin that he had been using to masquerade as Rurik. They attack, but he laughs at their feeble efforts. Rurik is raised as a thrall and attacks as well. The Baron walks through their blades and spells to the exit, only to be stopped by a man with a cat. This man's name is Amnon and Shadow. He attacks as well, but the Baron shifts into flight and escapes. The party must now decide what to do next with this information, as well as this potential new party member.